This actually really sucks. Breaking news this morning came through the wires via Pete Thamel on CBS Sports, although I do believe that Zachary Neal from Ducks Wire actually broke it first. Like, I hate when the local guys don't really get the credit. Like, it's always to the national guys. I get it. That's who has the biggest following on Twitter, but I saw it from Pete Thamel, saw it from Zachary Neal. Evan Stewart, Oregon wide receiver, out for most likely the entire season coming up here in 2025. One tweet specified a knee injury. Will Ortner and I were looking before the show, saw one other tweet said a torn patellar tendon, which that is the tendon to the kneecap. I've dislocated my kneecap, so I haven't torn the tendon, but like that hurts, and I feel like it's not as easy to recover from as like an ACL injury, but Evan Stewart down for the year. That's a huge blow to Oregon's offense. Dan Lanning is essentially now with a new quarterback under center for them, and Dante Moore leaning on a five-star recruit in like Decorian Moore and other guys to step up in the wake of Tez Johnson and Trayshawn Holden leaving. Evan Stewart was supposed to fill that hole in production, Danny, and I don't know. Me as a Ducks fan, it definitely nips at my craw a little bit today. It's like, that sucks. That's not good news.
Look, I know people are going to think, oh, here's the anti-Duck guy, but this team, while they're loaded with stars in the sense of like recruiting stars, you're talking about a team that's turning over a quarterback situation where you went from quite literally the two most experienced quarterbacks in college football history.
Yes, sir.
Dylan Gabriel and Bo Nix have more games, more snaps than anybody else that's ever played the game. That is, to replace that already is a big ask. You're replacing 3 linemen on your offensive line. Your wide receiver room, you're looking at Evan Stewart kind of being that guy. Yes, you're getting Gary Bryant Jr. back, and he's been a part of the program for a long time. That's great. But the one guy that you're kind of relying on that side of the ball to be the guy that helps the changeover is Evan Stewart. And yes, you've got, the number 1 wide receiver in the country in Decorian Moore, like depending on which recruiting system you look at, he's one of the guys in this class. The best freshman wide receiver in the country last year went for 900 yards.
Yeah.
Which, again, is great. And we're going to be talking about him in the NFL very soon. But asking that guy to be your number 1 guy was never going to be on the table. That just doesn't. True freshmen just as great as they can be when you have just an absolute freak. It's just not the same level as a guy. It's in year 2, year 3, year 4, whatever.
It's a crapshoot. It went well at Alabama and Ohio State. It didn't go well, I think, at Texas A&M. Their freshman wide receiver recruit just didn't do well. And
so you're changing over your quarterback. You're changing over most of your offensive line. You're changing over most of your wide receiver room. Like, so you just like as much talent as they have. I think the Ducks, their over-under line is 10.5 wins. I'd take them at 10. And people are like, oh, my God, how dare you? They were the Big Ten title winner, and, they were undefeated until the playoffs. Well, like, that's not the same team coming back.
No.
Like, it's like, well, Ohio State did this, and Alabama did this. It's like, you aren't them yet. And then that's okay. And you're probably going to be really good. I just said you're probably going to win 10 games. You're a really good team. You're winning 10 games in the second best or best conference, depending on how you look at it in college football. That's still a really good team.
I mean, does that get you to the conference playoff or the conference championship in the college playoff?
I don't know. Like Ohio State's
wins?
running back. Like, the great problem that Oregon had is they sent more players to the NFL this year than they've ever sent before.
Yeah.
But that also means you're replacing so many guys. And the same question is true of Ohio State. That's why so many teams or so many people are looking at Penn State to be the Big Ten favorite. Because they're returning a crap ton of guys.
Yeah.
And they're returning their quarterback. Now, I'm not a Drew Aller guy, but they're one of the only big teams in the conference returning their quarterback, their running backs, their offensive line. Like they have more coming back and more stability. And now you're going to lose a guy that could really hurt you as far as being not necessarily the gap year guy, but the guy that transfers from the era that was very rich in talent and also experience into a much more experienced group. I'm not saying they can't win 11 games. They can't win 12 games. Just a likelihood because of the inexperience. The next time Dante Moore makes a throw in a game that matters will be the first time.
You're right. UCLA's freshman year, not great for him. I mean, go look at the film. Like, it's like, oh, he looks really good at some points, and then at other points,
I think Dante's going to end up being a good quarterback.
He'll be okay.
He could end up being great.
Yeah.
But typically you gotta earn your stripes. You gotta get your bumps, and not having a guy to be able to fall back on, rely on, it does put them behind the 8 ball, so to speak.
Yeah, it's once again putting a lot more pressure not only on Dante Moore, but the other guys like Justice Lowe. You mentioned Gary Bryant Jr., Jurion Dickey, obviously somebody that's coming back. I think you need to lean on Kenyon Sadiq a little bit more. He needs to kind of have that label of baby Brock Powers really come true and be that Swiss Army knife for the Oregon Ducks this year. Now, especially without Evan Moore, this just sucks. I don't really, I mean, I think we got to go. Like, we're up against the hour. I could continue to bitch about this, but I just don't think it's good for my mental health because that was a big blow. Honestly, I agree with you, Danny, that the Ducks probably now, at this point, are sitting around a 10-win projection just because of the new players they are installing everywhere. Their offense, yes, they have some guys coming back, but there's a lot of holes on their offensive line, and obviously now the wide receiver room just... totally different look. Brutal start to not even the year yet. Sucks.
Them's the break. So much of we talk about it, whether it's basketball or football, luck. And a big part of luck is health. And, I hate seeing this for Evan Stewart. I was hoping, he'd be a guy that could come out there because he's a hell of a fun player to watch.
Yeah.
But, it's super unfortunate.